spicy, and then they're spicy. Which is why we put our new Mike hot sauce on the side in a covered container. You have to ask for it. New McDonald's spicy chicken McNuggets. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I think it's mostly working. Actually, I have to add you, sir. Let me do that real quick. Okay. Sharp as a tack. Occasionally it looks that way. What's going on, Pickford?
How are you doing, sir?
Not bad.
I am so hyped. We are now week 4, event 11 in this 8-week journey. And I'll tell you what, it's just getting bigger and bigger every single event. 24 teams in here. Right now, as we speak, 92 players already in. As we get ready to kick it off, I know that there's multiple teams that were not able to get in to this lobby. At least 5 to 6 teams that tried to get in couldn't get in. It's getting bigger and bigger every single event, every single week.
Yeah, so we do have a full, let's see, 2 through 25, so 24 teams.
Which is the max we do.
That's the max that we can get. We're all fulled up. Let's see, what do we got? 3 Outcast teams, 187, Misfire, Forgotten, Spray and Pray. I have to figure out why I don't have game audio right now, which I will do in a second. True, Dream Killers, Men of 4 as 2 teams, Ghost Melee Elite, Vixens, 10 HP, Walking Frags, Hacks, The Woo, Infamous, Top Strikers, The Goodfellows, Broham, ATP, and so a lot of teams that we've seen before. Anti-Sweat and Drop, the last 2 teams on there on my list.
Plus we have that that's always that, I think we called them the jalapeno into Mom's chili. Spray and Pray is going to be that jalapeno this week. Last week it was Meeseeks that came in there and won the entire event. Now Spray and Pray, too, that we've only seen a couple times coming in today. Looks like they can add a little spice to this chili that we call Wednesday night TPP scrims.
Yeah, definitely. Give us a recap of what went on Monday.
So on Monday, obviously the beginning of the week, we had Hacks come out there and win it, with OUTcast Alpha coming in second, ADP third, Dream Killers fourth, Top Strikers fifth, 187 Bravo, or 187 Black, sixth place. So that, and with Hacks in that first place finish and 187 that sixth, they are now Hacks is only 26 points behind 187 Black for first place in the power rankings. So that's, in theory, they could catch that in one match if with that 30 points for first place.
Gotcha. I gotta figure out where my game audio is at, but we will do that momentarily. Yeah, so another software update and some other things I've been changing around here to try to improve quality of certain things, but seems like I broke something at the moment. What I need to do is add...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, that should all be going here.
Looks like OUTcast Alpha, with only 3 members for whatever reason, has jumped directly on top of Misfire.
You know what? I might have game audio. I'm just not hearing it. That's interesting. And there's no way to, because of the delay, there's no real way to know that. Oh, there we go.
Oh, here you go.
There we go. So yeah, that was, sometimes when you change something in OBS, you have to like change it back and then change it for it to actually register. So that's always fun. So let's see what we've got going on. Couple teams in Yasnaya. We got the Woo.
Yeah, you got the Woo and with my list, True Esports. OUTcast Alpha, some for reason only has 3 members. They're up way north with Misfire directly on top of each other. So I don't know. So that's I don't know if they're looking to battle. I think they're kind of just looking to push away from each other.
Well, Fat Boy is
probably be
yeah. Fat Boy's taking the 3-wheeler.
So, who's someone's getting into it down in the south.
All right, I think I reset everything here. Looks like I should have game audio. Oh, wait. This might have to. Here we go. Here we go. I think I got it. It's always impossible to tell because of the delay. Where's Duke? Duke only casts on Mondays, bro.
Who's that? Who said that?
Duke's boyfriend, Cornelius.
Cornelius! He was, we were talking to him on Monday. You know, he was the a general in the Cuban-American War of 1412.
Cornelius Cornwall? Oh,
Jackson,
Cornelius Hawthorne.
Cornelius Hawthorne. You know, one thing I'm going to be interested in today, Nick, is as you go from map to map, with this large amount of players, this large amount of teams, and we obviously have had issues since the last update, how will the lag be? How will the render be? And stuff like that with so many players moving around on the map at the same time. I think it was last Friday we had that issue in that one match, the third match, we were getting kicked out of the lobby. And especially if we have 90+ players in Sandhawk, how's that going to go?
Yeah, that could be interesting. So, yeah, so Misfire kind of left that area they were in and rotated towards Severny, where
Forgotten. And we actually died.
Artemis taking some shots, but looks like he got away. Or he's far enough away anyway. Swimming for a boat. I'm not sure if...
Artemis loves the boat. He loves to live dangerously like that. Well, tonight, for our Wednesday interviews, we're going to be taking a deep dive with the Forgotten, a team that we've kind of kept our eye on throughout the whole season. They started out very poorly, had a little bit of a resurgence recently, but currently in 11th place. But with that 11th place, they're only 30 points out of 5th. So one first place finish, you can completely change it around for them. So we're going to talk to them about what they've done well, what they're hoping to improve, and how the season's paid off for them so far.
Yeah, be interested to hear, because they've definitely had a few ups and downs in the last few weeks here in the HyperX Scrim season.
I think we're another kind of team that's like the team that I think most of the teams can kind of relate to. They got 3rd places and 2nd place finish, but they've also come in 18th, 19th place. So, and I know that anyone who's played Scrims has had both those experiences when they played.
definitely. OUTcast Charlie getting some early action here.
Doing work.
Let's see, is that walking frags that they're picking on?
Was it team 19?
16, I think.
16? Yeah, that is walking frags.
So they got the compound. OUTcast Charlie has
Classic
the
battle.
hill. Yeah.
How many times have you seen high ground versus compound? This is, and then a little red zone mixed in.
Always got to have the red zone out in this area.
Now, I'm actually looking at OUTcast Bravo. They've been kind of having the same players week in, week out. Jay White has played a lot with them. Mr. Bacon, Lust. And we've really seen an improvement in their results over the past few weeks. They had, I think, 7th place on Monday. They've been having a lot better because of the consistency of their rosters.
Yeah, definitely a lot to be said about synergy for sure. So we got a little bit of a fight going on down in Primrose too. Vixens is down there as they normally are. Infamous 2 also in the area. Kind of trading out right now from the looks of it. Looks like they've each lost 1 player. Infamous does have another player knocked. Demon. Does that say Sermon?
Yes,
I think it says
Demon
Sermon. Demon.
Yes, you are
Sermon.
correct.
Okay, gotcha. A lot of AKs down here. Looks of it. Oh! Close, but
Close.
no. Close, but
Infamous knocked
no.
out in 21. And I'd say that problem right there with Infamous right there was they didn't push together as a squad. I mean, Infamous needs to use all of their players at the same time to be successful. And they can't really do a 2-2 push like they did right there because the 6 teams able to kind of get in there and take them out. And now they're knocked out 24th place, the first one out. But with that said, the bright side is even though they got knocked out first and they get 1 placement point, they're going to get as many placement points as the team that comes to the 16th place.
Well, I was noticing earlier that there's nobody in Zarky, but now there is a team in Zarky, so... Misfire.
I wanted to...
Misfire's up there.
And is OUTcast Alpha going to come in and try to take their home back?
It looks like they want to go over there. They're loading up in a boat.
That'll be good.
OUTcast Alpha only with 3 players.
I'll tell you what, if they get caught in this boat by Misfire, I hope there's nobody on the shore. Because if they get caught rolling up in this boat, it's going to be rough for them. It really depends on if they see them. And I mean, they're coming right around the... Oh, no, they're actually pretty far out there.
Listening back on the stream, make sure that there's game audio, there's Pickford's voice, there's my voice, so you guys got everything you need. By the way, thank you for that follow, Raphael.
It looks like, I'll tell you what, I'll give C-Dub credit. He knows that they were late there, that Misfire took off there. They don't, maybe not know exactly that team's there, but they are taking a kind of a wide berth in rolling up. I think they're just going to chill out in the water to maybe get better eyes on who's up there.
Yeah, I do like the thought of going up there with this way that the zone is.
That's very what's the word? I mean, for them to just know that somebody was in that town is very advantageous for OUTcast. I think that team would have come all the way up to Zarky, but they're smart enough to go around and not go into Zarky. They must have seen somebody on the shore or something.
Yeah, possibly Fat Boy. He's kind of close.
Maybe
running around.
Maybe
outside
they saw the boat.
it.
Maybe they saw the boat like pulled up on the shore because the boat that Misfire used to get there is parked.
Did they pull it up
right
on the?
They pulled up on the shore. Maybe that's what they saw. That's why they figured that maybe it wasn't a good idea to go there.
Yeah, that is true. That's probably exactly what happened.
So they've taken obviously the smart route and gone around and got back into the zone, trying to get on this West Coast. And I've always found it very interesting, Nick, when they have a far West Coast circle like this, how the teams react, because teams very rarely do they really hang out in this area of the West Coast. It's usually East Coast, East Central. But when you get over here south of George, north of Godka, that kind of area, hospital below that kind of swampland.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot over there. Yeah.
A lot of teams don't know that area, where the nooks and crannies are. You know, most of these guys, if you go by Yasnaya, go by Mansion, they know every nook, every cranny, where to hide. But out here, it's a little bit of a different area, especially since the new the bridge, or the new map. I mean, and now Ghost Millie Elite's just rushing misfire. Well, I don't know why they came all the way up to. Why would Ghost Millie Elite come all the way up north into the zone? But it looks like they are. Danny is driving in, and so is Ghost. Michael's already dead, and Artemis stayed back. And Danny being in the blue. Danny getting smoked by Zozu. I don't know where the rest of Ghost Millie. That's a very Ghost is quite far back. Danny maybe rushed up there to try to get some extra loot. You know, it was the first circle, and it wouldn't be that bad. But ran right into misfire. That's what I'm guessing. You know, you go up there, that's only the first zone. Most of the city is still not in the blue. You get some good free loot, not knowing that he's going to run into an entire squad. So. And
that'll be it. No, Ghost is still alive. I don't know where Ghost
is still alive.
Yeah, I don't know where he ended up at, but
I think he was behind him. I think he's right below him. He's in North George right now, going right into the zone. While misfire kind of they might rotate into him.
He's gonna go be a sand crab on the beach, I think.
I mean, there's a lot of, even though it's only
Wilkin drove right past him.
Whoa!
Either didn't see him or decided that he wasn't gonna fight him alone. Look at, they're all driving past. Yo, Fish, thanks for that 500 bits.
He's just, look at him. Look how smart he's just sitting there. You know he's got to be crapping his pants in a vehicle that's running, and just be cool, bro. Just be cool. Don't move. Don't do nothing, and they'll drive right by. And that's exactly what they did. So kudos to Ghost that Ghost Millie for staying cool, staying collective. And now he drives away. And is able to.
Hard to believe that this is even a low enough dip, but it is. It's higher than the buggy.
Yeah,
I mean that's couldn't see it on my way by.
This 200 IQ Ghost, good job. I think that was a wise play. And you know what? If we see him with a 10th place finish or better, knowing that was all because of this, because of those smart plays and stuff like that. Because it can be something as simple as that. Just knowing when to fire and when to hide, it can completely change around how many points you get in one match.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of knowing when to hide, let's see. OUTcast Bravo, I think you jinxed them. They are. We're in a fight with who's close by here? Broham. Looks like they've already lost Bacon and Hectic.
Look at these teams. All of them are trying to really. Looks like the new meta for these scrims is rush center circle earlier in the match, because you see so many people get blown up or getting shot in the blue zone or getting killed in the blue zone. A lot of the teams are pushing center zone a lot earlier. I think we've seen it in this match especially, because there's going to be teams that are now dead center, trying to get moved dead center.
Wow, look at this. This is a mess right here. Yeah. Team 23, ATP, right on top of Anti-Sweat.
I mean, this fight just drove through about 7 teams to get into this comp. I noticed that they're running right into Team 21, like literally running into them.
I wonder if that's also a factor of like what you said of if you're not as familiar with this area, that you may be more more eager to try to get in early.
I think that might be a point, because we see that a lot in McKendy on Fridays, where people don't know the map as well, and they do a lot of house camping because it's TPP. They don't really stay out in the field as much as they do it in other, especially obviously in Miramar.
Right. Okay. This would be great if I was getting shot indicators on my
Excuse
map.
me, I'm sorry.
Would have been Fat Boy. Who was shooting just now? Vulcan.
So look at that. 68 players. We're only, what, we're 16 minutes in. There was still so many players left. This is the time where even if you're in a compound, you want to keep your head out of the windows, because there's going to be somebody who can see you probably from 4 different angles. And you just got to keep yourself out of any type of window or open angle. Unless you know you see somebody, you can really not only shoot them, but finish them.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, the ranges that most of these teams are trading shots at, a finish isn't going to be likely. But
What's
you
gonna
know,
happen
you
is
can
that you're
deplete,
gonna knock them, and somebody else is gonna finish them for you.
it possibly, or you're working on wearing down their armor, running them out of heals, boosts, and those types of things.
One thing I do is not every for those players of the teams that maybe aren't the top player of the team. To me, what I do right now, like when I'm playing here, I'm just making sure my job is don't get knocked. Don't be the one getting knocked. Don't be the one that's gonna cause that squad rush. And when it's already will be 4v3. Unless don't be trying to fire somebody unless I feel like I can only knock them, but I can probably finish them too and take them out. Otherwise, it's just not, I don't think it's worth it other than you just exchanging rounds and letting everybody know where you're at.
Yeah, I mean.
But if you look right now, like Misfire has got S&P to their right and Dream Killers to their left. But each one being about 100 to 200 meters away. So right now, it's gonna be almost impossible to take out either one of these teams. This is just a case of seeing where the zone's going to be. This way is going to have to rotate before anybody else into this zone, and that's what I've been thinking about right now.
I have seen too. What do you think of this strategy? You know, if
Brownie
like this,
just blew up C-Dub.
You're trading, trading shots like this and whatnot. I've seen players actually take off their helmet, set it on the ground.
Yes. I had a teammate used to do that where I thought he asked me who stole his level 3 helmet, and I was like, I didn't know it was yours. It was on the ground. He goes, yeah, I took it off. So if I get knocked, I can get picked up. I don't want to, but if I get knocked, I'm gonna get knocked no matter what. If I get hit in the head, so I might as well save it for later. When
you're in those long, especially longer range sniper battles, you're like,
yeah.
If I get hit in the head, it's going to destroy the helmet anyway, so I might as well just take it off and get knocked and then get picked up and still have a good helmet.
Exactly, and I thought that was so smart at the time when I heard that. I never thought of that. But yeah, that's a 300 IQ play right there. And
Speaking of level 3, where'd this man get all level 3 everything and an AWM?
I'm going to guess he got it from the Korean server or the Chinese server. No, this is ADP, a team that is a Chinese team, all Chinese team. They came in an interview with us. I'm sure they got a crate.
Yeah.
But if you look at all these teams in the southwest of this team, they're all trying to push up. It looks like the circle looks like an ice cream cone, with the teams being the cone. They're all pushing up southwest, so I think once these teams turn around and start getting location, it's going to be a lot harder for these teams rotating in to find a spot. Oh, it looks like Misfire rushed up onto True Esports. That's going to be a tough one for anybody.
Got Mana 4 and Spray and Pray also, right on the very edge, the edge of the circle that you were talking about.
Vulcan already knocked. Alright, Vulcan killed in that drive-by. Yeah, but Misfire just trying to drive past pretty much a gauntlet of the Forgotten and True Esports losing Jake in the process. Like a lot of teams running into a lot of these compounds, and some of the compounds are taking, some of them are not. But it seems like a lot of teams are getting unlucky and running into the compounds over and over with somebody in them.
Spray and Pray not being shy here. They're pushing right into the observatory building here that Mana 4 was in.
Are you a bigger fan of walking down a hill or a compound?
I think it depends. I would generally prefer not to be in a compound. I think you, well, it's not as much of an issue in TPP, but the visibility becomes a factor at some points, you know, where if you're on a hill, it seems like it's easier to see all around you versus if you're in a compound and you can only look in the directions where you're allowed to look due to windows.
Mm-hmm. It's like that kind of like that age-old argument. If you're out in the open, you have more room, but you have so many more angles to watch. Where if you're in a compound, you're kind of trapped in that compound.
Right. I mean, the thing is if you're in a compound and a team's trying to push you, like they only have to hold down the windows because that's the only place that you're going to be able to shoot from. You know, out in the open, it's, you know, maybe not as predictable. You have some additional options at your disposal. So despite going on at this observatory, Top Strikers decided just to come up and see if they could partake in a couple of the kills as well.
Little known fact, this is also known as Misfire Headquarters, as when we used to, a lot of scrims, if you get lost or whatever, this is our rendezvous point. If you don't have comms and you get separated from the team, we meet up here.
Gotcha.
Little known fact, little known, and that's because they know it's comms, how excellent comms are in this game. That a lot of times you'll just, you know, you don't want to chat, so you just go. That's where you rendezvous if it's in the zone. But now with this circle going in, we have the hospital. You have a little bit of that South George warehouse, but a little bit of the mountain, but a lot of open space, and all the real estate that is housed up. 187 got a compound. Drop's got a compound. We have to see where people are going to go in this region, because this is where it's going to get really spicy. This going from 4th to 5th to 6th zone. We're going to go from 17 to 10 teams very, very quickly. And we're going to see because right now the next team gets knocked out still gets 1 point. He gets as many points as this team got. That'd be 10 HP. They're getting as many placement points as that if this team got knocked out in 24th. Yeah, I love that with a Team 16 got themselves up on top of that mountain. The highest point that they could have walking frags, the highest point in this zone, and they'll be able to see any team that takes up on them to the left or the right if team starts getting on top of the hill.
Yeah, the question is how long can they stay up there for? We'll see what the next zone does. Pushing down off of that mountain.
Brain Brain is stretched right past Misfire, taking pings and tings left and right. Oh! An agent knocked out by Rage. Now Misfire's got to move. This is the 4th zone. Not this one is bad, but in only 7 seconds, or a few seconds, it's going to go down to the 5th zone, and that's where it gets rough. This one's going to be pushing out of that blue zone as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and they're driving. They're trying to take a different route, but they're going right past Hacks.
Yes.
Kind of preoccupied with Top Strikers.
Yes, it might be just the sneak in that Misfire needs to get into the zone.
It looks like that is what happened. They were able to sneak in the back of them.
I think that Misfire's going to send like a thank you note to Top Strikers for keeping Hacks off of their back when they were trying to get in.
Yeah, we'll see if that team up the hill can pick them off now.
Because I mean, if they see them, let's see Godly, Crystal, let's see what they see. I mean, they obviously they see where Misfire is. Katie does see she's pushing down, but she looks like she has a red dot. She's trying to get a little bit closer. Zoe's already knocked from Luis from Hacks. So Misfire is in a tough spot in this zone already. They're already taking rounds from Hacks, and now here comes some rounds from Katie for walking frags. Any second, as soon as she gets ready, and there she goes. She's
quick work on Fat Boy, yeah.
And eventually puts him down. Now it's only going to be Artemis, the only one still up.
You say, you know, the player just has a red dot, but man, the way these players can use red dots is insane. Yeah.
I mean, you get prone with that M4 and a red dot. I mean, that is, I would say, I don't know very many people that can fire a fully automatic weapon in the prone position from 300 meters at a lower angle. But, you know, it is a game.
Yeah, the red dot meta is definitely strong in this game for sure.
Yes, sir. But now it looks like Artemis is going to have to decide if he's going to go and get those two, and if not, because he has 10 seconds, because this is not all the way healed.
I don't really understand what Zeus he literally ran around in the zone, and then got knocked to zone, and he was just like right next to not being in the zone. Like,
maybe.
Like he crawled after he was knocked. He immediately crawled into like out of the blue. So yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
Artemis has got a long ways to go. 200 meters in this zone. I don't know if he's gonna make it, but every second he sees away alive, more dying all around him. He's already down to a top 10 situation now. I was watching some video on demands, and I was looking at it. It was about 4 minutes from 15 teams live to 10 teams live. So just that 4 minutes staying alive gives you so many extra points. Okay. In this amount of time that Artemis has been running, we've gone from 11 teams to 7 teams.
I was trying to figure out a team to click on, and there was just like 4 dying all on my map. I couldn't I was deer in the headlights.
He's now gone. There's 7 teams still left, and he's still trying to live. He's trying to use first aid to get in the zone. But just in the time that he's been running, 4 teams have been knocked out. So obviously, it's super important, you know, especially in this. It's what I consider the hardest part of this game, or the most important part of this game right now, is going from 15th down to top 10 in the difference in points. It ends up getting us. This fight gets knocked out in 7th place, but I said if they get knocked out in that same area when those got knocked out, they'd come in 11th. So obviously the difference in that first match, when we get my official score sheet, I don't make any big mistakes, is they went from getting 5 points to getting 10 points. So doubling their placement points in that first match. And now this is where the big points. This is where the kills come and the big points come, Nick.
Yeah, and who do we have in 8DP?
Team ADP.
They have not had to move here from the hospital hilltop area for quite a while.
They came in
now they're getting looked at.
Monday.
They're getting looked at from all sorts of angles now, though.
They came in.
187 making a tough rotation. Clown getting taken down by zone. I think they're gonna have to sacrifice Clown, but 2 of them, I believe, got in. Mr. 13-inch never changed his name back from Monday.
From Monday, no. That would be Ginger. I'm still scoring Ginger. I don't care what he says. And now 2 high-quality teams. Top striker are True Esport and 187.
And apparently did not get enough FPP on Monday because 13-incher is playing an FPP right now. Is that still an advantage when you're using smokes?
That's a good question. I mean, Ginger loves FPP. He's gonna play with, you know. And look at this. Who's gonna take? Look at but hey, True Esports. 4. And look how close that was. Yet True Esports comes out of there with all their members left.
And Cash pushed with basically no health.
Yes. And now all they have is Wadu left. And that's what OUTcast Alpha play in their game. You know, snaking in there, getting the 2nd place finish, getting all those points, 22 points. They have 2 team kills, but still, they're going to get 22 points after this first match.
You're already declaring that they're not going to win?
Well, yes. I'm paid for my professional opinion, and I do not think that Wadu, although he's a great player, can defeat all 4 members of Tree Sports by himself. Even though he is a great player, and I respect him a lot, that's a Herculean task.
Will he get 1 knock? That's the question. Bro, Galaxy Hound Store gifting myself a sub. Thank you. That's
there we go.
not too often I've been streaming or casting and there's a gifted sub to me. That actually is probably the first time. So Pickford, the amazing Pickford's prediction there, coming true. True Esports coming in first place with 15 kills. Twists and Cash tearing up the lobby.
This puts it. Twist is currently 4th place in the Cherry Topper Popper.
Oh, this will help him out with that. Grabbing 7 more in that match. Cash with 8. So OUTcast Alpha 2nd place with 2 kills, and Graham 2 kills in 3rd place. And then, let's see, 187. I just want to see how many kills they had. 9, 10, 11 kills. So they had a pretty heavy kill match. Just 4th place, though.
That 3rd place finish is huge for Broham. They're currently out of the top 15 in the power rankings. So having a good scrim, having some points tonight, really helped them move up.
Misfire in 7th place.
With their 1 kill.
You know, it was kind of neat to see the end results when you saw at the beginning, like, the crazy distance of rotations that, like, Misfire and OUTcast Alpha were making. Like, kilometers traveled that match was...
If they've got points for kilometers traveled, Misfire would probably won. So I know that you have to, as we finish up, we close out this first round, see the scores. We have a short commercial, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a deep dive tonight with the Forgotten. I'm going to invite those guys in here, and then we're going to talk to them about their season so far and what they're looking forward to.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll be back in about 35 seconds for that. All right, just a quick check in there with the prizes. One of the prize packages from HyperX being those cloud earbuds. Gaming on the go. Big focus, obviously, for PUBG Mobile. Do we still have Pickford?
Oh,
we
yes,
have
sir.
Pickford.
Yes, sir. I'll just wait
right.
for you to finish up. Didn't want to talk over you. And we're
Okay.
inviting I'm trying to invite all the guys in here, but right now we are lucky enough to have the first member of the Forgotten, and that is Gizmo. So thank you very much for giving us some of your time, Gizmo.
No problem. Glad to do it.
And if you have a chance, you can invite the rest of the guys if they didn't get my invite.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I know you want to do. So what we're doing is, if you guys have watched on Wednesdays, what we like to do is to take one team and kind of do a deep dive, giving them all the interviews for one day. And one team that we've really kind of focused on this season, I focused on because I put them as my 3rd best team in the lobby, is the Forgotten. And I think that the Forgotten as a team has really exemplified competitive PUBG gameplay in regards to their results so far in this season. Just to give you a little heads up, they started out pretty bad. I'm not going to lie, pretty bad. They've now slowly been able to dig themselves out of this hole, building themselves up, trying to get themselves out of the hole they dug themselves. They're currently in 11th place. You see 11th place, that's not very high, but they're only 30 points. One first place finish away from being in 5th place. That's how tight these scores are. So we're going to start with these guys. We have now Blade and Gizmo in here. And Cal. So first of all, kind of just run us through the first couple weeks when you guys were running into bad result after bad result after bad result really early, after you guys have been so dominant just 2 weeks earlier, 1 week earlier before the season started.
I think Giz and Boca should take this one.
All right. So first, I think actually I'm going to mention the scrims as a whole. The dynamic is kind of changed. I would say before it was labeled as a tournament, it wasn't as like, you got to stay up for as long as possible, got to make it to the end zone, and now that it is a tournament, it's been labeled that way. Everyone is kind of edging their way into the final end zones, and so that's something we've had to adjust to, as well as we were just kind of getting our asses handed to us at the beginning. We didn't know there was just so much confusion. And then we were also trying to finalize our roster to get a set roster instead of switching players in and out because that breaks synergy. And so recently, as of last week, I believe we have selected our main 4 for the roster. And honestly, from there, it's just been trying to figure out where we're going wrong. And we're just trying to identify those problems and address them so that way we can continue to improve, especially with these last 4 weeks of the tournament.
What I've said to, I'm friends with Forgotten. I talked to them off stream, and so we've been talking about when it was really bad about a week ago. We talked about kind of like they're trying to figure out what the problem was, watching the video on demand, talking to each other, trying to figure it out. And my opinion was, you're just having a bad streak. That happens. There's valleys and there's hills. You guys are great players. You guys have come back from probably the greatest comeback I've ever seen in a scrim, with a huge comeback on a Friday night. Just wait. It'll come back to you guys, and I think that's what's happening. But if you go over the last week's scores, last Wednesday you guys had a 19th place finish, not too hot, but then last Monday a 10th, last Friday a 6th place. So it's like a kind of like you'll have a bad one, a medium one, and then a good one, but you kind of have to try to start eliminating those really bad ones. And you guys are currently, like I said, 11th place, but only 30 points out of 5th, and on the cherry topper popper list, Kale is in 14th place with 40 kills. So that's bright side.
Hey.
Yo, I got 40 kills. What?
Kale has got 40 kills. Is currently 14th place. So now you guys, we're almost the halfway point. What are we doing now to live up to our potential? I guess this is the term I'm looking for.
Cal, if you want this one, I'll give it to you.
Calling out the mistakes and holding each other accountable instead of just ignoring it and pretending it didn't happen.
Oh, wise words, sir. Wise words.
And yeah, we had a couple skirmishes in the last week, but we pulled it together. We talked it out like big boys, and I think we figured it out now. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but I think we figured it out, and we've been playing a couple scrims on the side, and we're doing well. But you can only do as much as you can do when zone gets you and everything else gets you. But I think as long as we're happy with what we talk about, then we'll take the losses if they come and the wins if they come. So
I'm going to cut you off right there. We're going to let you get back into the room. Don't want you to be late, but we're going to pick up this conversation right where we left off after the next match, after Miramar, with all the members of the Forgotten, currently in 11th place, talking about how they've kind of started out slow, they're speeding up, and what they're doing to improve that in the future for this season. So I'll let you guys get away, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes after this next match. Good luck.
Sure thing. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Nick, it's almost ironic when he was talking about taking accountability for your mistakes and stuff like that, because that's something that happens in Misfire too. We're an older team. We have guys we have guys all the way from their 40s all the way down to in their late teens. And what we like to do is be able to have the ability to call somebody out if they make a mistake. I don't think you did this wrong, and that can be very hard for some people to take. One thing I've noticed is that some people find it very difficult to take constructive criticism, even when it's not mean or it's not coming from a bad spot. People sometimes find it very hard to take any type of criticism in their gameplay, and it's something that we're recognizing in Misfire. I think a lot of teams recognize that in their gameplay.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Nobody likes to feel like they aren't living up or playing up to their potential, and that's all sometimes it boils down to. And I think the key thing is to keep that open mind that not everybody knows everything and not everybody has every experience. And if you have someone who's taking their time and energy to try to help you become better at anything, I think you should at least listen. And
I agree.
And if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, I mean, you just take it and put it in your backpack of things and move on with life. No sense in getting upset about it.
So I'll give you a quick example. Obviously, Artemis is the IGL that I fall under on Misfire. And I have, for whatever reason, a terrible habit of hard peeking corners way too long. And when I do that, Artemis gets on my shit. He really gives me like, what are you doing? We've talked about this, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have some sort of expectation to treat me like because I'm the owner of the team that I somehow cannot be corrected or can't be criticized. When he's the IGL, he's the boss. His rules are the way that is how it goes. That's as simple as it is. I can accept his criticism and I feel like it's about my manhood is being besmirched because I'm being corrected on something that I've been told 50 times and I still keep doing it. But the same thing is, if you remember, I think it was on Friday where Misfire got smoked in that when they rushed Miramar.
Right.
I mean, Artemis kind of had to. I'm not gonna say he had to answer for it, but I mean, I wanted a real good explanation on why that happened. Because I felt that he's better than to do that. He kind of explained to me what he was thinking and the information that he had. We kind of talked about it and we came to a conclusion. He can take criticism. I can take criticism. And so should everybody else. And I really think that can hurt or kind of retards a player's growth a little bit when they can't accept criticism, because it's usually somebody seeing something you're not seeing, and it can really make you a better player.
Right, 100%. So we got scores.
Oh, let's hear it, sir.
Let's take a look. One of these magical buttons does what I want. This cool. All right, so probably not a huge surprise that. Why did this start on the second slide? I don't know, but True Esports did come in first place. Usually the Chicken Dinner will do that, but there's the switch. 187 finished in fourth place, but they're second in the standings right now, standing on the shoulders of those 11 kills. So then in third, we got OUTcast Alpha, and then 8DP in fourth. I don't see, Dream Killers. There they are, down the list quite a ways. But, it's first match of the night. We got 2 more to go.
I think what we're going to see is we're going to see the top teams stretch out their lead. Usually, Erangel, that first match is the match where kind of the outliers do well and get themselves a little bit of a lead. Miramar's that map that kind of brings the better teams, or I guess the historically best teams back to the top of the leaderboard. And with the teams that we see at the top of the leaderboard already up on top, I think it's going to be very hard for a team to to catch up, because what it says does very well in Miramar. OUTcast Alpha does very well in Miramar. These teams, so it's going to be very hard for a team to kind of get up there and take that spot.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was still fixing things. This new software update in OBS, it's all good, but I haven't been in these scenes since the update, so I keep finding little things that I just need to basically turn off and turn back on again to get them to work. But with that said, we are in the plane for match 2, flying over Miramar. Go ahead and get these screenshots. Take a look at the plane path. A little bit south. Oh. I know some of these teams do like to go up farther north.
I do. I think that this is a good drop for El Azhar if you can make it up there, or go all the way down to maybe Los Higos down to prison, or push up to like Monte Nuevo, or up that west coast road up to El Pozo. There's usually a few vehicles up on that road, the very, very farthest west road.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of teams don't want to just wait that far into the map jump to go down that far.
By Ladriera.
And of course,
we could just go Chumacera. Yeah, I mean, that's probably just the place everyone should jump.
If you go to Chumacera, you'll probably be dead, so I'll see you in the lobby.
As I'm watching Fat Boy parachute to Chumacera.
Uh-oh.
It looks like he's not going to Chumacera, but he's...
There should be an alarm. I think I was supposed to set an alarm on every person's device if they got within 50 meters of Chumacera, that the game just shut down.
They made a like a weather front along the east side there.
I guess so. I guess maybe the force field worked because looks like they all ran up against that Chumacera force and stopped.
Where they have like
straight down.
The shot collars for like an invisible fence.
Exactly. Exactly. You can see they all landed in a straight line.
So a couple teams in Los Leones, 187 is there, Vixens and Hacks. I know Hacks is a little bit salty about that last match. They said they got hosed over because of the zone, which that can happen.
Well, I mean, it's our number 1 and number 2 teams in the overall power rankings in the same area. So if one of those 2 teams gets knocked out early, plus the number 3 team right behind it. So I mean, this could really put a real mousetrap in regards to the overall scoring. If 1 or 2 of these top 3 teams gets knocked out.
Yeah, you'd almost have to think someone's going to take some casualties here with 3 teams basically in Los Leones and 1 team really close. I think I'm a little bit worried for Murda right now, as he's kind of in the middle of town, and Mystic possibly close enough to support him, but I mean, it kind of depends on what Vixen was doing.
That's one of the things that happens when it's 7 in they drop. They spread out early in their drops, and one person gets separated, and the whole squad will roll up on them and take them out. And they'll be going 3v4 for the rest of the match. But we have talked to them, and they pretty much are willing to lose 1 player. I mean, they don't change anything about their gameplay until they get down to 2 players. Then they go into a defensive mode. But if they have 3 or 4 players, they say that they play the same exact way.
We got 3 players with the gun skills that the 187 players tend to have. You can, I can see that strategy working out, and obviously we can see in the scores that strategy's been working out.
Nick, of all 4 of their players are in the top 15 in the overall frag competition. All 4 of their they probably have about 6 players that they kind of rotate in and out, and 4 of those guys are in the top 15. And we're talking about I think we're now at 304 individual players that have played so far in these events.
How many?
304.
304 players have participated.
So far, yes sir. And we're not even halfway through. We're averaging about, I'd say, 15 to 20 new players every event. Obviously, the first 2 weeks.
Every event or every week? Every event?
Every event. About 10 to 15 players. We had obviously a huge influx in the first 2 weeks. That kind of set the groundwork. Then after that, it's been, like I said, about 10 to 15 players every event that are new. Always super dangerous rolling up 4 deep in 1 vehicle. But you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do early in the match to get that utility, get those smokes, get those grenades, get those mollies that you're gonna need if you make it to the end circle, especially on a map like Miramar.
I wonder if Spray and Pray is working on trying to gatekeep Men of 4, because they were south of them and they rotated around but just stopped just on the other side of them. Could give them an opportunity there. Speaking of opportunities, we got Hacks getting surrounded now by Vixens from the looks of it.
Huge circle. I mean, it's half the circle, quarter of the circle is outside of the map. So that's obviously going to affect it. And look, so many teams in the south are going to have to push north, especially down on the Prison Island down there. You got 3 teams down there, plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams right above them. So
It's a
say
very,
those 8 teams are gonna have to push up into that zone.
I don't know, unique might not be the right word, but considering where the plane path was, that's not really where I would have guessed that the circle would go. It's almost as far opposite of the plane path as it could get. This could be a real test for Vixens if they get into a full-out fight here with Hacks.
I mean, it's obviously a huge test for the Vixens, but if they can successfully deal with Hacks, I mean, that's obviously huge for the rest of the teams, because it not only helps them, it helps all the rest of the teams in regards to points. And Vixens is a team that's not the team to be slept upon. It's a team that's coming in. They don't play a lot of the events, but they do. They're usually quite successful in how they play. Although,
yeah, I've been been impressed with the way that they've been handling themselves. You know, anytime you see another team go to Primworsk, now I'm feeling a little bit bad for them because, you know, they're going to run into Vixens down there.
And that's you know that's what I've found to be truly I've really appreciated these tournaments. That you have some teams that play all the events, some that play one, and then some are just happen to play one a week. So they play I guess over time they play now 5 or 6 events, but they're playing there. It's part of the schedule. We play OUTcast on Fridays regardless, or on Wednesdays regardless if it's a tournament. This is what we play, but we do other things on Mondays and Fridays, which was fine. But they come in here, they do well, they cause havoc in the server, and then go on their merry way. Not really looking to maybe win the whole thing, but more than willing to cause disruption and havoc with the teams that are trying to get to the top.
Well, looks like that kind of created some space there between Hacks and Vixens now, so that fight not going to happen probably within the next couple minutes anyway.
So I don't think it's a coincidence that you had 4 teams all in Los Leones, and none of them really dealt with each other. OUTcast Alpha took off, 187 Black took off, Hacks and Vixens are still in the area, but they're kind of separated. These teams know, and I forgot kind of talked about it when we talked about when we were saying them earlier. Earlier, maybe the teams were taking fights early because there was no real long-term ramifications in getting knocked out. But now, with points, the points being so important, they're not going to take fights early if they don't have to. They want to be able to be there at the end of these matches to get the real placement points and the kills.
Yeah, definitely. Just kind of like the difference between, you know, like a random scrim match and like one that has, you know, an ongoing series and a prize pool and all of that.
Exactly, and I think that's and like you said, that's what kind of the forgotten kind of ran into is they played the same way early, and it ended up costing them. It took them a couple weeks to kind of realize that they had to kind of change their game style to one where it's more of a season-long game style versus a one scrim style. Trying to sneak past 187, but running right into OUTcast Bravo.
So we got Bacon, Hectic, Lust, and Jay White for OUTcast Bravo tonight. It's a little bit of a different look for them.
What we see is Jay White, Mr. Bacon. Those guys are kind of like, I guess, the foundational pieces. We talked to them, you know, just last week and on Friday, and Lust and Hectic are kind of, Lust is really putting himself in there as a tough and strong solid third player. And now that fourth player is going to be Hectic, Envy. Once they solidify that, then it just trickles down to OUTcast Charlie, and they can really build on their on having a solid 4 for their team.
Oh, that could be a bad spot for Clown to kind of derail his truck.
He's right. This is what you call it. Is right on top of him.
Yeah, didn't
Hectic.
fire a shot though. Maybe he just didn't have an angle.
maybe.
I
mean,
figured when he put the truck on his side and just, basically came to a complete stop that he was just gonna get lit up. No worse for the wear though, for Clown. He does get away. Yeah, this zone.
I know this is a zone. It is still the first zone, so teams can kind of spend a couple minutes if they have to. You don't have to really worry about getting smoked in the zone. But look at this. Look at down in the south. You have what, like 1, 2, 3 teams all in the red and the blue. Some in the red, some in the blue. I always love when a team gets knocked in the red. That's one of my favorite things. Just hopefully, these teams out there driving around in the red zone.
Look at all the vehicles Woo's watching just drive fast. It's all hacks, but they're all in different vehicles. So it's like a whole caravan going across in front of them.
Trick tried to take out.
Ooh, got just as the vehicle got to the top of the hill, about to go over the ridge. The last round, found the gas tank.
It's no coincidence. The Trick is the overall cherry topper popper frag leader with 78 kills so far.
78 kills over what, 10 nights?
We're on week 4, event 11. So over 10 events, he has. So he's averaging 7.8. His KD or KM is 7.8, which is good in classics, let alone in scrims.
7.8 kills per match.
Kills per match. So
That's
far.
insane.
And that's in scrims. If I had that in classics when I was bronze 11, I'd be happy.
No doubt.
But due to kind of like the Woo, they miss matches. They play with 3 players a lot of times. It's kind of cost them in the overall rankings. They're currently in 6th place with 82 points, 122 points out of first place, because like they literally just miss whole matches. They'll show up and play 2 out of 3 matches, and when they do play, I'd say at least half the time they only have 3 players, which obviously has a negative effect on their overall results.
True taking out the Forgotten right now from the looks of it.
Uh-oh.
Forgotten down to 2 players. And that's going to do it for the Forgotten. Maybe you need to DM them some questions. They have a little bit of time to research and prepare some
they're knocked out.
Solid answers.
Knocked out in 24th place. But we've played now 15 minutes, and that's our first team knocked out totally. So, we've played quite a while before a team has been totally eliminated.
Now Men of 4 looks like they got Ghost Melee Elite. No, this is true with Ghost Melee Elite. Rolling right up to him. We got Men of 4 and 187 going at it as well. Well, no, that's over. 187 doesn't even let me get over there to spectate, because every time I tapped a player, they died, and then it never let me actually get over there. But, yeah, so that happened.
So down 2 teams now. We have Men of 4. The team that was 7th place, or still is 7th place in the power rankings, knocked out in 23rd place in this second matchup tonight. So, and then obviously the Forgotten, team that was in 11th place team we're interviewing tonight, knocked out 24th place. So obviously they're not happy about that. They're going to really have to have a turnaround in this Sandhopper match to try to salvage the points overall. Oh, and then there was HyperX Esports finishing off Ghost Melee Elite team 14th place overall in the power rankings.
Dream Killer just figured out that spray and pray is on the freaking hilltop right next to him. Dude, if Marsh gets one with one of these nades. Nope, did not. I think that'd be a Aaron Rodgers throw there. That
Marsh and Judy are no joke. Let's put it this way. Marsh is 6th overall. Judy 7th overall in the kills. Sarge also a great player on his own right. But I mean, how do they even get up there?
spray and pray?
Yeah.
I watched one of them walk right up. There's apparently a line that you can take and you can walk that way.
That's the spot right there. Yeah, okay, I can see it. Yeah, it must be on this vehicle side.
It was kind of on the southwest side, if I remember right. I think where he was.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that's where the vehicle's parked. But yeah, being on top of that hill is obviously very, very strong position to have. But this is a huge. If Spray Break can take out Dream Killers, I mean, Dream Killers overall 4th place in the overall power rankings, only 17 points behind OUTcast Alpha in 3rd place, 67 points out of 1st.
Yeah, they do have the challenge though of after they get a knock, what do they do with it? Because they've had a couple knocks, but then they just get picked up. They've tried a couple of grenades, they've tried a molly, but not able to get the correct angle or the correct spot for something to land.
Cage just fell to his knock. He's got knocked and he fell off the side of the mountain. That could be a huge mistake by Sprint Break. Best hope the best hope for Sprint Break is what actually Dream Killers is doing, getting in their vehicles and getting out of town, so that now they can come around the other side and pick up Agent.
Nice. A little bit of a going away present.
Oh, look how low he was before he was able to pick him up. Oh, what did someone just put some rounds on him severely? Agent is down to like both of them are down to almost 1 HP. Someone was putting rounds on him.
Almost had to be Dream Killers. Did they stop and try to give him a bit of an ambush?
Maybe. I mean, they weren't able to finish him off, but because they're down now.
No, they're shooting men of 4 now.
Men of 4.
Well, Vixens, unless yeah, maybe it was Vixens.
Metaphor Bravo, Hombres de Cuatro, the all Spanish team was Metaphor. The conspiracy that C-Dub purposely gets himself killed early in every match so he can IGL from and see everybody's screen holds true.
That's a conspiracy?
Yeah, because I've noticed that if I was looking at some of the VODs, it seems that
he dies first every time.
I was like, are you dying on purpose and coach him from there? Wow.
I guess Louis didn't see the Mystic run right up on him. You know, with the car exploding and the bullets and everything else. Hold that jump shot, though.
Oh my god, what is I mean, it's just wow. That's impressive. They lost 2 players, one's knocked, but still they have 13 kills already with 15 teams left. Just
Mystic
wow.
played that great though. I mean, this car exploded and he was able to run this wall and literally come up right next to the player. I saw him. I was on the player spectating and I saw Mystic run past him. I'm like, did you see that guy? And then now he's dead. So apparently you didn't see him, which is odd. It's odd for me to see. I'm usually the blind one that is like, no man, I didn't see him. What are you talking about?
And now these teams rotating in. This is where you have to eliminate all your bad decisions, going from 14 down to 10 to 9. That's where the points really start changing up. And it's this rotation right here. They can.
Men of 4 been watching some Chinese teams. They're driving the trucks like up the straight vertical mountains and getting on top of them.
I know that OUTcast Alpha. Like I know that literally C-Dub opens up rooms by himself just to go up and try to drive up all these hills and stuff. To see if
speaking of OUTcast Alpha, they're in trouble right now. Yeah, Men of 4 went up this hill right and back, and at the same time, they started getting shot from Dream Killers. So they were looking the wrong way, and Men of 4, I think that was, just popped up right in back of them. Yeah.
And they're done. Yeah, they're done in 14th place. So obviously a huge setback for OUTcast Alpha. The OUTcast Alpha team. They're rolling with some momentum, and now it looks like this is an infamous misfire getting into it right now. Men of 4 with Men of 4 up on the top of the hill too.
Yeah, Men of 4 have a pretty unique position if they get zone on this next one.
Misfire in a terrible position. They got Infamous below them, and they have Men of 4 Bravo up above them. So, and now they have 10 HP rushing them.
Oh, you guys have a terrible position. Who would like to have that position?
Do we have your shitty position? Out. That boy's still alive. Artemis is still alive. Vulcan's trying to get in there.
Misfire survived that. Zozu coming back. They're all in one shack.
Oh my god, don't throw a grenade.
I don't think there's anybody close enough to throw a grenade, but I was thinking, could you imagine if they had RPGs?
Oh my god, but I wonder how many of those kills were by Misfire and how many were by Men of 4, the Anti-Sweat, and Infamous.
Well, Misfire has a total of 3, so I don't really know how it broke down, but...
Oh wow, I mean, what a battle. I mean, we're down to a top 10 finish, and as you said, you have this terrible position, let us have it. And they were not able to take this terrible position. They died in their attempts because, like I said, there's so many Infamous below them, Men of 4 up above them, and then here comes, 187 Black rolling up on Infamous in their combo. Well, they want to take it, and they're going to have the Dream Killers pushing up on Men of 4 Black, so I hope that they destroy all that hit. Down to 9 teams. Way spread out. Look at this team. So look at the what team is that? That is Walking Frags. Way down low. Now rushing it now. And Vulcan and Misfire sitting right next to a gas can.
Ooh, the zone might finish off True right here.
Yeah, but we're now in that 5th zone. This is the last zone where you can actually heal yourself afterwards. You can heal yourself at the 6th zone, but you can't really move because it's 13 seconds start to finish. So this is now Legend and the rest of True trying to get out of the blue zone.
Freddy's going to get away. He did get Raya off the back of the
and there
buggy,
goes
though.
Legend. Just dies to the Blazers. So down to 7 teams. Oh, and now Zebra at 187 is trying to rotate kind of clockwise through that zone, put themselves right on the edge. A nice spot to start attacking these teams when they rotate in themselves. So getting his noggin knocked, but not his head, but not his helmet removed, which is good. Mr. has 50 seconds to move. They got a little bit of ways to go to get into that next zone. And it looks like they're gonna have to deal with Infamous pushed up the same exact route that Destroyer's using. Scorpion knocking Fat Boy. Sozu taking out Scorpion. Oh, but the grenade! Oh, the grenade!
Grenade got all of them.
Oh, taking out Destroyer in 6th place. Kudos to Scorpion for such a clutch grenade right there. Kobe it perfectly.
Dang, I wish I would have been spectating that. I was trying to see what 187 was doing. Besides getting accused of hacking again. It's like
I love that song.
It's like a nightly occurrence.
Are they saying now that Duke wouldn't stand for that if he was here, like on Friday?
No, nobody said that yet.
I brought that up to Duke on Friday. He was like, "I'm gonna sold in their hacks, you dummy."
Jesus.
And Duke, that's look at what it's up, just turning and spraying on everybody. Just, oh my goodness. Already got 15 kills.
It's like, you were saying about if they have 3 players or 4 players or what. Like, they have 2 players.
Now they're in this. Now when they get out of this part, they're just fragmented. They don't. It's just. And look how the Zebra and Missing No, people aren't coming up right to the front. No one's gonna rush them dead on. They're gonna rush them to the left or the right. And that's what they're keeping their focus on. The left or the right. The Zebra using the what you call it, the little hack that if you crouch with a pad, no one can hear you. But he knows that no one's going to come up directly above him. They're going to come from the right or left because that's how people rotate in these last circles, and that's exactly what they're keeping their eyes on. Now they're going to make a no rotation. They know that one team is over there, so now they're going to be the aggressors and put the fight to them.
Try to get a little bit of a different position from where the gunshots were heard last.
Exactly. Also, Zebra, making sure she's not checking in front of him, he's checking to the left. Making sure that no one's going to come take him from behind. And now he's going to wait until Mystic I thought he was going to rush here after Mystic needed to reload, but he's waiting on a second. And there he comes up, dead center. Was not going to expect that. And bam, there goes Dark J.
Just like the coordination, like you're saying, when one player has to reload, then the other player's there, because he might get peeked and shot at while he's reloading. You got to have your teammate there to provide you some cover. That's exactly what they did.
Now they have. They're logging Elma. Oh, as soon as it tries to come up,
Sinister just ran into that.
Because Sinister thought that he heard the guy in front of him trying to jump out and do that third-party prone, and Zebra kind of knew what he was going to do, so he went to the left and saw the angle that he was going to go prone to. Now it's Albamont versus both Mr. Zebra and Mystic. Mystic currently third place in overall kills with 58, and Mr. Zebra overall 8th with 46.
I feel kind of bad for the Men of 4 player here with the zone coming. There it is. Like, do you run out and get shot, or you just die to zone?
I'd say you got second place, 7 kills, got a lot of team points to your team. 187, obviously. Oh my god. What is it? 18, 21 points, 21 kills, plus first place. Dream Killers in third with 5. Infamous 2 in fourth place. A great finish for Infamous. Good job to those guys. Plus 4 kills. The Anti-Sweat team in 5th place with 0 kills. Misfire in 6th place with 3 kills. And that would be Walking Frags in the 7th place with 8 kills. So a lot of teams that we have seen up on top, a lot of new teams. I was wrong. I thought usually Miramar's in this moment we kind of see the same teams up there. We did see 2 of the top 5 teams, but also some new blood up there in the top 7 at least, with Misfire, Metaphor, Bravo, Infamous, and Anti-Sweat, and Walking Frags.
Good to see a lot of these teams like getting a decent number of kills. The first match seemed a little bit light for most of the top. I mean, outside of 187. You know, two kills, 4 kills. So hearing 8 and 10 and 9 and whatever, all these higher numbers. I like that. I mean, there's enough people in the lobby. You should be getting your share of the kills, I would think.
So I know that we have to transition to a short message from our sponsors, and then after that, we will come back here and continue our conversation with the Forgotten.
Sounds good. We'll be back in a minute. Alright, that was another prize provided by HyperX. One of the prize packages going to one of the top 3 teams at the end of the season. Again, it is an 8-week season. We are in week 4, so just about halfway through. I think I have the top 10 on this screen. No, I don't. We'll come back to that in just a second.
Yes, sir. We are now, as we spoke about earlier, happy to welcome back the guys from the Forgotten. Let's just get take care of the elephant off the room. What happened in that second match, guys?
Oh, jeez.
So you said I was top 14, and I just got really cocky. No, I'm joking.
No. So we decided to try and get a better position in zone, of course, starting trying to get closer to center, and we rolled right up on True.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
You win. You're big robot Blade.
Yeah. You're Blade. Yo, Blade, you're breaking up.
So you guys,
Okay,
you roll up on True. They're saying, "Hello, boys, let's talk," and then what happens?
Well, no, like 3 of them said, "Hello, boys, let's talk," and the other one was off to the left, and that's what caused the problem. And we didn't expect them at all, right? I saw them with, yeah.
So now you guys are going into the third match. We're doing Erangel again. That seems to be now kind of like the focus, because we've had a lot of issues that you guys have known, such as last Friday with people getting frozen out of rooms. That because we have such a large lobby, 90+ players, that we're going back to Erangel for the third match. You guys have obviously, I would say, had less than a stellar performance so far, but like I said, a top 5 finish in this last match can turn it around. Getting the points first, second, third, fourth, fifth can really, make a bad night an acceptable night in regards to the whole season. How are you guys going to go in there and try to work your way to a top 5 finish? Because then you can't really kind of shoot for a top 10. You really need the points in the top 5. How do you guys kind of go in there with that?
Okay, we're gonna switch up the strategy for this last one and try to make the most out of it. To be honest.
And that's so now. Obviously, you guys have. This is a very long season. I know, at least for a fact, I know that Gizmo is very, very busy recently. He has a lot of work to do. How are you guys balancing, the time that you need to practice in a long season with now school started back up, work has started back up, college, whatever you're doing, the seasons has kind of come upon us where everyone has a billion different things pushing on you. But you still need to put in the hours or the time into these matches to get better. How do you guys kind of balance those two things?
I'm like severely addicted to caffeine and this game, so that kind of helps. Caffeine helps, and then a slight addiction to the game helps, and then you don't really need sleep. Sleep's not that important, so.
Well, I guess anybody besides Kale. Kale is an odd duck, and he's kind of a weirdo. He has about 90 minutes of sleep per week.
Yeah, pretty close.
On a good week. On a good week.
Yeah.
Good week. Here's a little hint for you. If you play a classic with Kale, not only do you get a game in, but he can also get recite you an entire movie in the amount of time that one match takes. He'll tell you lots of stories and adventurous things and lots of stuff you never knew.
It's never boring.
You never have to worry about having something to talk about with Cal's around.
No.
But he's got all these guys in the Forgotten. I've gotten to know a lot better over the season. All of them are great guys. And I think that's one thing that has you guys staying together. We see so much breakup in teams. You guys are all kind of unique guys, unique personalities, but you all seem to have found a way to make it work. Not only to be successful, but also to stay together as a team. How do you guys kind of balance the quirks of each other to stay friends, stay tight as a unit?
Okay, Cal, you need to jump on this one.
Okay.
Because I know what you want to mention, and I want you to mention it.
Say it.
Everyone just you take the game serious when you're in the game, and when you're out of the game, forget it for a few. And it's just when you play those classics, like you gotta have fun, like as much seriousness as you can have when you're playing the scrims. You gotta have fun outside of it, and that's the thing. Like everyone, like you said, everyone has their own like special part. Like everyone has their own personality, and we just kind of ride off that. We make fun of each other, we yell at each other, and at the end of the day, we all say see you later, and we'll play tomorrow, regardless of what happens. So
excellent point. And just I don't mean to cut you off. We'll have you back after the next match. Hopefully, we'll have you guys got a chicken dinner or something. We can finish the night on a high note. But let you guys get in there so you don't miss the match. Good luck at this last match. Hopefully, it can't be any worse than the second match. You came in dead last.
There's only one way to go. We can go
There's
up.
only one way to go up. So good luck, and hopefully we'll finish the night off on a high note.
All right.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
We'll see
Thanks,
you
Big
later.
Hey, good luck, guys. All right, we got the updated scores we're going to be
yes, sir.
looking at here. Wow, everything is such a crazy missize right now. Let's see. So 187 black ending up. I just need to get this one out of here. That ain't working.
I still don't understand why there's a space between miss and fire.
Take that up with not me, someone else. Oh, well.
Take that up with somebody who gives a shit.
No, that ain't what I'm meaning. I'm just saying. That isn't, I didn't make the thing. But, anyway. I think it was supposed to fit better somehow. I don't know. 187 black ending up in first place after that win definitely helped them pad their score a little bit. They're at 78 points. True Esports second place with 63 points. And then down in third place with 36 points. Men of 4, Bravo. And then Dream Killers back up in fourth where we're used to seeing them. So that's
Hacks done in 13th.
yeah.
These teams, the entire lobby is allowing 187 to kind of lengthen their lead. They after Mondays when 187 had a bad night, teams were able to close that gap a little bit. But it looks like from right now, 187 is gonna lengthen that gap, because before this night was over, Hacks, like I said, was only 26 points out of first place, and OUTcast Alpha was 50 points out of first place. So they're really closed it down. But it looks like now that's going to expand, because with Hacks in 13th, and I think OUTcast Alpha also a little ways down, it's going to be difficult. Both these teams are going to need good finishes to not only to try to keep pace with 187, but also to keep Dream Killers, which is only 17 points behind OUTcast Alpha, and True Esports, which is in 5th place, away from OUTcast Alpha and Hacks. So if it looks like, I think after this tonight, we're going to see like 4th and 5th, and 2nd and 3rd really close themselves up a little bit, while we're going to see Team 1, 187 Black, kind of spread themselves a little bit.
All right, well, there's the predictions. You heard them from the man himself. So yeah,
hopefully one of these teams, hopefully you will see. I want to see the top 5 teams all get knocked out early. I mean, I always want to see the teams try to close that distance, match after match. So I have no problem with seeing 187, Hacks, OUTcast Alpha, Dream Killers, and True Esports all getting knocked out early, so that the teams behind them can kind of close it up. I want it to be as tight as possible for as long as possible, to make this season as exciting as possible. That's 3 possibles.
anything is possible
That's just 4.
in match 3.
So what do you feel about this this Twilight Dawn?
The
type
pink
of
mode?
I don't mind it, but
Pink
some
mode?
people, really hate it. Really hate it. Like Artemis on my team, I think Artemis and Pepboy, they'll back out if they hate it that much. I don't really mind it that much, but I guess it can really get on people's nerves.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't bother me, I guess.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was an issue until I think just yesterday when they were complaining about it. This is a nice plan route for our last match. Right over Stolberg, going down to the right of Quarry. I'll tell you right now, if I'm a team right now, I'm going to go to military right now. That's what I'm doing. If I saw this map.
Well, it's not really a surprise to see OUTcast Alpha jumping out fairly early here.
Yeah, they're going to push back to Kaminsky. They like to do that. They like to do that pushback on playing paths like that. But it looks like ADP is going to do the same thing. And so they're going to push, OUTcast is going to push to the left. Whose team? And the Goodfellows, Charlie, was it Squeaker, going to go also to the right. So a lot of teams jumping out very, very early. And then I know that Venom Misfire is going to go to Quarry. That's the place that they prefer to go to. And now they'll be able to get there on this plane path. Plus they're gonna jump late, knowing how many teams are still to play when they jump.
Yeah, so ATP did jump and go kind of backtrack right to Kameshki. OUTcast Alpha north of down the hill north from Stolberg. We got the Forgotten and what's OUTcast Bravo here in Severny. And a whole pile of teams trying to go southwest.
Yeah, looks like we have
OUTcast
quite a few
Charlie,
teams.
Ghost Melee Elite, Misfire, Men of 4, 10 HP.
Misfire was able to hit the ground first, so if they can get, they're right on top of Men of 4 Bravo. Misfire and Men of 4 Bravo landed pretty much 5 feet away from each other.
And Vixens, I was like, Vixens has to be down here too somewhere. This is their territory, and they are. They're just floating all the way to Primworst with Team 19, the infamous 2.
Sinister, Docky and Thirsting Artemis. Fat Boy's with them. It looks like Zozu and Vulcan are pretty far away. They like do a split drop. And Fat Boy's gonna drop back. There's 3 players from Metaphor Bravo. There's a Metaphor Bravo, Metaphor Bravo right there. So somebody's gonna push back, trying to get back with Zozu and Vulcan. And we just have to cough Artemis up to 3 guys dropping on top of it, and Misfire dropped, did a split drop. But they're going to be careful though, because they have 10 HP right in front of them and Metaphor Bravo behind them, and the Team 19 and Team 4, Fixes and Infamous, both down in Primorsk, or in Primorsk.
Yeah, this ended up to be a very busy sector of the map, this match. More so than normal, I think. And we got Dream Killers and 187 Black kind of near each other. Well, I mean, one of the players from 187 Black anyway, maybe 2. But you know what, Dream Killer, like Zero's a little bit separated off from his team as well.
And of course, all those teams over there in the Triangle of Death area that I hate. That well, actually, they all got out of there. That far Milta shelter section. But Broheem up in prison. 1-8 Top Strikers and 187 Black is driving around compound to compound looking for bad guys, level with Dream Killers. I mean, Top Strikers is all very, very spread out. And then you have a True and the Wu. You know how much we know the Wu loves Yasnaya and looting there and taking that area over. is so spread out, pretty much a 2-2 split. And if one squad can just roll up on one of these guys, Ginger by himself, is he running? Yes, Ginger running by himself. Mr. Zebra out running by himself. Missing out running by himself. Cloud's the only one in the vehicle. If they can just,
Zero does find Ginger too.
Oh, and looks like Junie is gonna push Ginger. And that's what you gotta do. That's what you have to. If you know that they're by themselves, especially early, is get your squad together, down 4v1 over and over and over again. You take them all out. Somebody needs to put some rounds. Sarge Zero and Bush to put some rounds on on Clown so that Junie can get back. Oh, Clown's feet anyway, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Clown's trying to get out of there.
A huge amount of teams, not only in the southwest, but the northwest too. Men of 4, the Sprain Prey, and and Team 16 Walking Frags, all over the Georgia Pool, either North or South Georgia Pool. And nice 10 HP is took over military. I really like 10 HP's strats recently on military, where they haven't been going to the military base or to Novo. They've been hitting all the compounds on the road around the base. Go from compound to compound to compound, hitting them all up in the first zone, getting a lot of loot.
Yeah, that's a valid strategy for sure.
I've never seen a squad like kind of just like get a vehicle and you see that large road that goes around all of the military. It's just stopping at every little compound and looting it and going on. And that's the first time I've seen it, and it's been very effective. And they haven't been knocked early in a match in quite a while.
You got a good strategy for that and good communications. You can loot those little clusters of compounds really fast too.
And there's so many. If you really just look at it, you see how many of those little. There's like each one has 5 or 6 houses, and there's probably 10 to 12 of them. So as much as you're gonna get in one of the major cities if you can hit all of them.
Standoff in Primorsk.
Yeah, it seems there's a lot of doing a little bit of standoff right now. Kind of allowing the zone to kind of dictate what they're going to do, what their opponents are going to do before they really have to make a decision. Trying to get as much information as they can. Got jumped out of a vehicle that got blown up by EDP.
The M24 getting a knock. Top view on Scorpion down in Primorsk.
Dude, this was Crown, Kopayu, very aggressive. Not really knowing how many players are around them. Still pushing forward, trying to get as many knocks, trying to finish off the knocks that they do have, and trying to find some more. Knowing that they hear those footsteps, knowing there's at least one other, if not 2 other people around there.
That's what happens there, I guess. Huh.
You are right, sir.
Yo, T-Mags, thanks for that follow. OP. The
T-Mags
OG T-Mags.
187. So that's one of the people that I subdued on the Twitter machine, along with some guy named Nicky.
Yeah, that guy.
Although that guy has an awesome screen. It always gets 500 whatchamacallits out of me. Because I love to set it off.
Wait, did Vixens? Vixens took out this team. I tell you what, do not go to Primorsk.
Don't go where the Vixens are. How about that?
Dang! Every time a team goes to Primorsk that isn't the Vixens, they don't make it out.
Yep. Seems like a scene. Speaking of teams getting knocked out early, the Forgotten are still alive. They are.
They're way up at shooting range.
Keeping themselves alive.
We out of here, boys.
We're not the first ones out this time, my guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have personal experience playing in scrims like this, but is it that hard just to not get involved in anything until the top 10?
Oh, I would say there's 3 parts. There's your initial drop, right? You just don't know. And if you just jump into another team, you have to get into it.
Right.
And then you have obviously is rotations, which is obviously very, very hard because you don't know. But I tell you, the hardest part is going when there's 15 teams and 10 teams.
Right.
That's really the hardest
part.
Because you play 25 minutes The circle's very small, and you've done so much work. And if you're not done 15th place, you got 2 points for all that hard work.
That is right. By the
So-
time it gets to 15 teams, the circle's already
We're the 5th circle, 4th or 5th
already
circle.
really small.
And then it's so much luck, and that's really what. But then you think it's luck when the same teams are always there. So how much luck can it be? So that's why I know that's what this fight's really been working at. Is trying to as we've gotten better, we obviously the better you get, the more problems you have. And now our problem right now is always trying to get from that 15th place to 10th place finish, and then once you get 10th place, then going from there. But really focusing on just staying live. And as we saw in that first match, Artemis was able to go from 11th to 7th place in 45 seconds.
Right. Yeah. That's a pile of points too. Just
Yeah.
you know.
So I mean, it's so big. And then once you get past that kind of like 10th place finish, then and it kind of slows down. You'll have 8 to 7, 8, 9 teams. Then you can go into that fragging mode where you're looking left and right, and not only are you looking to kill people that you see, but also try to steal as many knocks as you possibly can.
Right.
A lot of room up on top, though. I mean, the Forgotten are really setting themselves up for the only team north of the river. They can really do themselves a solid by just staying up there, just chillaxing and waiting to see where this next zone goes. What is S&P? Great, I think they're just going onto their vehicle. Ooh.
Twitch is on fire right now.
There. Yeah. The same thing happened to the other guys. They're just driving up and down this road and just getting smoked by everybody. Scarface only still alive. And now Scarface with 19 teams left is in super defense mode, not wanting to leave out here with this at 1 point. So now you move that one team is trying to rotate up north counterclockwise or counterclockwise, and that whole top of the river is all just wide open.
If only they knew.
If only they knew. But usually, it's surprising because usually you'll see a team rotate counterclockwise, clockwise to the northernmost point. If you look on average, if you go up to if the circle is a clock, you go right up to 12 o'clock. They come straight down. That's usually the safest bet in regards to getting into the zone. That's pro strats right there for you.
If the circle's a clock, you go.
So imagine imagine the circle's a clock, right? The one we have right now. If you go at 12 o'clock midnight and go up there and come straight down, you'll most likely have it open on the top, the very top. Of the circle.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. I thought you were predicting. I thought you were predicting the next circle somehow. Like.
No.
You do what now? Repeat.
But I've seen it in every. So if you're a IGL and you're like, I don't know where to go, when in doubt, just go to the very top of the circle and come down, and you should be more times than not okay. And I want to see where this, if one of these zones, if they're gonna stay on a big city, because usually when we get to smaller zones, if there's a major city inside of a smaller zone, people rotate earlier than they do if it's just an open field.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. They're excited to try to
They
find a
wanna
building to call home.
They want to get into Pachiki, they want to get in Yasnaya, they want to get their house set up early. Whereas If it's more of an open field, they'll wait and kind of hang out on the edge until they actually have to. So let's see based on where this next zone goes.
Ghost Melee Elite. Ghost getting a knock on one of the Men of 4 Bravo players. Sinister. We're over at Ruins.
Huge. That's a huge one because we said Men of 4 Black, if I'm mistaken, are top 5 teams so far this week. And now, as you can see, a lot of teams push right now into Yasnaya. They're looking at the circle right now, and they're going to move into Yasnaya.
Oh, now Ghost is knocked. Seemed like he got a little bit thirsty there. Michael's right alongside of him, though. And no, he's not. Men of 4 Bravo able to hold off that push with 2 knocked. So that was all on Agony's shoulders. Does come
Look at
through.
all these teams coming up from the south, southwest. So many teams pushing up to the south. Like I said, if you're coming from the north, and if you're coming to Yasnaya from the north, you're really going to do yourself a real service. I'd say if you get yourself up on the north shore of Yasnaya Lake, in that little those little defilade up there, you can really put yourself in a really good position.
Yeah, right on the top of that cliff.
Yeah, with all the little the boulders and the cliffs and outlies. If you can get up there, you can really do yourself really do well. But like I said, a lot of teams are going to try to push into Yasnaya right now early with time to go because they want to get themselves a little compound, jump in, and stay safe. With this is the third zone, so if I'm one of these teams and I have to rotate far out, I would rotate out into the blue if I have to. It's only the third going to the fourth zone is still not that bad, especially if I want to rotate around up in the northern part of the circle, which looks like Misfire is going to do, and I think Drop is right behind them, along with Vixen. So it looks like all three of them are kind of doing a log train up to the northern part of the circle.
Yeah, I'd probably take that west-west bridge, that double bridge west of Razhawk, and then go around the north up. If I were like near Pachinki or Potato Hill or something like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I said I would take the actually they have that compound up there. But if you go a little bit south of that Yasnaya lake is very, very valuable. But it looks like Drop is driving up behind Misfire. Maybe looking to run him over. They're right behind them, Moldy and those guys from Drop. And we've played now, 21 minutes. The next team that gets knocked out will still get 1 placement point.
1 plate, that's a lot of work for
1 point. And all those guys get knocked out in the first 15 seconds get to see them out. In these scrims, I consider 16th place to be the worst place to possibly get, because you get as many points as 17th through 25th, but you did do so much more work.
Right, yeah, you were so close.
Oh, and now dropping Misfire and getting it from range up on top of that hill.
I've never known with gifting a tier 1 sub to Zoro. Nice. Thanks for that gifted sub. Zorro, if you're in chat, make sure to say thank you. I think that was an anonymous community gift, so Zorro just the lucky recipient.
Here comes Drop, pushing misfire. The knock.
Dude, a little while ago we had a raid too. I didn't catch that alert. That may have been in between matches or something, but Bison came in with a raid of 3. I want to make sure that we acknowledge that. Thank you, sir.
Another guy I follow and subduing this thing. Great guy, and also a great guy to play with. Really good player. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was like one of the original IGLs for OUTcast way back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. But what I'm not wrong about is being a high-level player. It looks like Drop. Downer. And Moldy. Gonna push right into misfire. Into the compound that they're in right now.
We also
right
have
into the compound.
4-player Dream Killer squad coming straight at 187.
At that point, Zozu's still alive. Can they finish Drop, or is Drop going to win? Zozu and Drop takes out 187, and Misfire. And Misfire earns the 16th place award. Like we said, one of the
least coveted position.
The least coveted position, 16th place awarded to Misfire. So after having kind of a rough night on Monday, and following it up with they weren't getting the top 10 after 2 matches, so they're gonna probably fall out of the top 10 after 3 matches. We'll see how that affects their top 10 rankings.
Yo, Ruben Smokes, thanks for the follow.
And kudos to Drop. I mean, I talked to Drop earlier today. Team Drop has lost a lot of players over the past few months. Whether it goes to Brohi, OUTcast, some of them have gone to OUTcast, some of them have gone to Dream Killers, but Boldy's still fighting it out, still trying to keep his team active, and obviously doing well tonight with the squad wipe of Misfire.
Speaking of Dream Killers, they just turned around and saw their sweat squad, or anti-sweat squad, and pack of them, and just totally lit them up.
It's like when your little brother's like behind you and kind of just like messing with you, and you just turn around and punch him, and he just stops. Like that's what
he just stops, yeah.
Just stops and like, he's like, hey, and just annoying. You turn around, and slap him in the head. He just stops, kind of like doesn't want to cry in front of his friends, and just walks away. That's what they just did to the anti-sweat. And now, Dick, we get into the most stressful part of this match. This going into this little circle with pretty much a third of it, maybe a quarter of it in the water. 15 to 10 teams, very.
We're gonna see
a lot of killing.
DK take out 187 here in 15th place.
Wow.
And there it is. Took a while. It took about 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds longer than I thought it would, but it did happen. So Dream Killer's taking out 187.
And that 15th and 10th place, so much can happen. It's such like people would be running into the wrong person, running the wrong squad now. Ooh, C-Dub, look at all these knocks into your teams. Appreciate Deacon, unknown from the anti-sweat team. Oh, and Sarge jumps right into the water with him.
This is almost like a race to see who can get out of the water the first.
Unknown's on the other side and get on the shore, so as soon as Sarge jumps up, you can shoot him now. You can shoot him through the water. Shoot him now. What do you do? Why do you wait? Oh, there's people up above him. Okay. Oh, Sarge jumped in the water to find out where Unknown was to relay it back to him so he could direct their fire. I see. Poor Unknown. Now just trying to stay alive. Sarge jumps back in the water, get an eyeball on where he's at. Drake telling that to his teammate up on top.
This is a kind of an
It's
interesting.
like a SEAL Team 6th battle. Sarge just going back and forth on the shore.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is in more of a fight.
They just go prone. He's just swimming. Just keeps on swimming. And now Sarge just get himself way over rotated all by himself. Now he realizes he's really screwed up. Sarge is knocked off by Trick. And looks like Blade is the only one up from the Forget. He's like he's not gonna make it. He's got a long ways to go. So he's gonna die in the.
Plays on doing a number on a pile of players right
so
now. There he is.
He's knocked out in like what, 4th or 5th place. I'm not sure which one, but obviously better than they had before. This Metaphor Black team. Let's see, they have another. They're already in the top 5. And they're having another either 1st or 2nd place finish along with Dream Killers.
A solid 2v2 here.
So I'm Marshall 0. I'm using all the rest of my utility right now. You know sort of where they're at. You should be using all of your mollies and grenades you have right now. I don't know if Marsh hears him. 0 should be communicating that. I think Marsh should be coming around. There.
You know, Men of 4 in a little bit of trouble now. That'll be it for the match. Yeah. That off angle.
Good job by Dream Killers.
That off angle Dream Killers had at the end was basically what decided the game there. 15 kills for Dream Killers and the chicken dinner. This team, since they started playing under this tag, it seems like they've gotten better and better each week.
Yes, they have. They've been very successful. They've been top 5 right from the get-go. Going from drop down to Brohim, now Brohim to Dream Killers. And Marsh, I think, is the leader of this team. And, you know, is really trying to put the best team forward. That's why they came up with this anti-sweat team based on some of the other players of Dream Killers, Stella, Smith, Unknown, Dead. We still want to play with this. Listen, we got to put the best team forward. We're not going to do this a rotation of multiple players. We want the best team forward. So once you guys bring a second team so you guys can get in and play while Dream Killers puts the best team forward to be successful and actually have a chance to win it. And since then, they've really just been racking up the points, racking up the finishes.
Yeah, so first place with 15 kills, and we have Men of 4 Bravo with 9 kills in second place. And then Anti-Sweat, wow, in third place with 6 kills, and then the Forgotten in 4th place, and it looks like they had 5 kills. So that'll give you the top 5 for the last match. All of the total results and everything will be in the Discord, so if you're not in there, You can just say !Discord in the Twitch chat, and then you can see what's going on. So we're going to take a small ad break, and then we'll have another interview coming up in just about 45 seconds. All right, this is a charge play clutch, which you guys have been seeing on stream all night. This device I have my phone in gives you some nice grips ready to go. One of my favorite features of this is the removable battery pack, which can charge wirelessly or via USB, and it has multiple USB connections, so whatever cables you have should work. But this also will charge your phone while it's in the case. So your extended long-term gaming sessions do not have to come to a stop because of a low battery. I think that's why they call it the clutch, because it comes in clutch, keeps you in the game. Pickford, you back?
Yes, sir.
Aye.
And as we finish up our night, we're welcoming back to Guys from the Forgotten with our Wednesday deep dive. So obviously, I pretty much threw out the gauntlet to you guys. You guys needed a top 5 finish or better, and you were able to clutch that out with, I think, a 4th place finish, if I'm not mistaken. So what would you guys do in the last match that really was able to be so much more successful than the first 2?
I think for us, so we went to Severny, and then unfortunately we didn't have any vehicles, so we just kind of had to trash loot a bunch of compounds. We split up, and then luckily at one of the compounds there was a spawn, and from there we just kind of moved our way in. We didn't immediately take a center position because there probably would have been people there, probably would have been contested, and then towards the end actually we did manage to take a central position, and no one luckily was there. And so we were able to hold that off for a decent amount of time, and then the zone kind of fucked us again. So then we had to rotate out of there, and unfortunately that was kind of what led up to our demise on that last one.
So that last match is kind of like a blessing and a curse, because obviously if you're a team that was constantly coming in last or coming in the bottom, you can say, okay, that's just what you guys do. But when you end up getting a 4th place finish, a finish you guys know you can do, but then you follow it up early with not as finishes that aren't as well. Does that end up being frustrating to you guys, knowing that what you guys can accomplish is not always what you guys do accomplish?
It's all about that execution, right? Like that whole rotation, that last game we executed, and that didn't happen that second game, and it's frustrating, but like we had no one but ourselves to blame after that second game, right? So you and it's nothing new either. So it's kind of hard to be frustrated when you know it's your own fault and you could have prevented it if you just did what you said you would do, right? So I don't think frustrated is the word. It's just.
And I think another thing.
Yeah.
To add on to that, Cal, another thing is you can train and train and train and practice and train, and it does not matter until you're in the heat of the moment. You know, when we're in these scrims, of course, they are still scrims, they're practices with a prize pool, as this is the scrim season. But moving forward, it's like, it doesn't matter how good you are, you need to learn how to practice and learn under pressure, and that's where a classic just cannot do that. You know, it's completely different from, you know, getting your group together and be like, all right, let's go in a classic and play together, versus, all right, let's hop in a scrim, because you're versing all these other people who are trying to do the same thing. Of course, the goal is always to come on top, but when you're practicing and trying to get that together, it's in the moment where you get the most experience, and the moment is always changing. You're never going to get the exact same moment in a scrim or in a tourney or anything like that.
I mean, words well said. I mean, I think it is like that. It's when they say when someone asks me who hasn't played Scrims before, what is it like? And it's like, well, imagine when you're in the last 4v4 battle in a classic with the best team in there besides you guys. Imagine that, but every single team is that good.
There's 25 other teams exactly like that.
There's no or that 25, and we see it. I don't care if it's 187 black because we see those guys get wiped early to a team that is just 4 people that show up. That we've seen every team get knocked out early in a scrim match as the season has gone along. So there's no bad players. It's just different levels of good. That's kind of how I say it. They say, well, this team is bad, this team is good. No, they're all good. It's just how good are they? And when you get into these scrims, especially now, and I think you guys hit the nail on the head earlier when that transition from before this was a season scrim where we were keeping points to now where the teams were still playing well, but there was a level of like, okay, it's only one match. So if we have a bad match in this one match, it's okay because we'll just show up on Wednesday or Friday and start fresh. But now with this points adding up week after week after week, it just carries over, and teams are playing a lot more conservatively, a lot smarter. And one small mistake, whether it be rotation, whether it be drop, whether it be that 15 to that new 15th to 10th place kind of gun down. It's just so much more difficult and so many more different variables you have to factor in to be successful.
Yeah, this may be called a scrim season, but everyone's handling it as a tournament because it is a tournament, and that's the only way to go. You can't handle this like a scrim.
I noticed a huge difference in how everyone played, like the second it started. Like the second that first day started, everyone just started playing more passive and just like not taking as much chances, which,
I think we saw a prime example of it. We saw a lot of prime example in that Miramar match. I think we had Vixens, 187 Black, Hacks, and another team all in the same city, and all 4 teams kind of just separated and went on their own way. No one really engaged because they didn't want to take that risk so early in the match. So now that we have
a month ago, 187 is running in with a pistol to try to kill everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, exactly. So now we're pretty much at the halfway point. You guys probably gonna finish out with probably on the low end, the top 10 probably when these scores come out. If I had to guess, and probably going to be around the 10th or 11th place mark. I would guess in the power rankings. What are you guys doing for the next 4 weeks? How are you going to try? How you put yourself in the best situation for success? Not saying you're going to win it all or do it all, but how are you putting your guys in the best position to be successful?
So we've had 4 weeks going into this, and we're at the halfway point. We've been trying to do a lot of reflecting, especially on those days where we just have those bad games. Of course, we've had the scrim where we came second, or the one where we came fifth, and all those. Those were significant, understanding, hey, how did we run the team in those matches? But for all those other matches that were just failure, it's understanding and recognizing those mistakes and implementing them into how we're functioning as a team. It's not a mix of strategy and synergy. And if you don't have a good mix of that, you're going to fall apart, no matter the match, because the zone's always going to be different. Your position's always going to be different. The teammates, if you can handle it, are going to stay the same. You need to know your teammates. And understanding those mistakes is what's going to lead us into more successful matches. And we've been trying to hone all of that in, especially coming up at this halfway point.
Well, I mean, well said, sir. And again, we have been talking to the Forgotten all tonight, doing a Wednesday deep dive. So what I want to say is it's all guys that I played with offline, and a bunch of great guys. If you have a chance to get some matches with them, I suggest you do it. They're fun, smart guys, and just a lot of fun to hang out with. So thank you guys very much for giving us a little bit of your time and a little bit of your expertise on this season. You guys are kind of OGs. You guys have been here before the season started. You're here for every match. So you guys, if anyone really knows the ins and outs of these scrims, it's you guys. So most likely we'll talk to you guys right at the end of the season. Hopefully it's with great news. You guys have gone on a hot streak and done well. But until then, thank you guys very, very much for giving us your time, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Awesome.
you,
Thank
Pickford.
you. And thank you, Pickford. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, Outcast, for hosting these.
Anytime,
What
Blade.
he said.
Good luck on
Thank you,
Friday.
man.
GG.
Awesome. Same to you. GG's.
And as we transition to the end of our show, the post game, we're gonna have our scores, and we're also lucky enough to have in the guys we hear at the end of every single script, the leader of Outcast, Brownie, and the coach of Outcast, and a member of the Outcast Alpha team, C-Dub. Thank you guys very much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
So, obviously, you guys are kind of like the same story, an up and down kind of night for Outcast Alpha. Obviously, I don't know if let's say it's what you guys were like 100% shooting for, but I wouldn't also call it a bad night either.
We'll call it a up-down medium.
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, we had an unfortunate situation in Miramar that could have definitely gone better for us. Just a couple more placement points right there. If we could have got, say, an 8th or a 9th instead of a 14th, I think that could have helped us out. I haven't seen the exact scores yet, but
You want to?
oh yeah, they're close. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
I can get them up if you guys give me like 2 seconds.
Yes,
roll
sir.
it.
Just because of the audio and the transition. All right, here we go. All right, there we've got winning the night 187 Black. I don't think anybody is probably too surprised at that, but they did not dominate as we have seen in some previous nights.
No, not at all.
They only won the night by 4 points. Dream Killers, a very close second. There was 77 points. Metaphor Bravo, third place, with 67 points. Then 66 points, True Esports. So the top 4 were all, really close. 14 points separating? 15 points separating the top 4. So,
Also,
yeah.
those scores, the teams that are the top 4, but whether it's Hacks, Outcast Alpha, and Dream Killers, all 187 Black is able to expand that room between first place and the rest of the teams.
Yeah, that is true,
so-
because of the way that the scoring goes, they will get the 30 points for the night, even though they only won the night by 4 points.
And it's going to allow the team in the team in fourth place able
Killers.
to catch up Dream Killers to close up that gap between Outcast Alpha and Hacks. So looks like second through fourth is going to get a lot more tight, while first is going to push out a little bit more as Friday will be the official halfway point of this first season.
That's right. So, surprise here, Anti-Sweat, 6th place. Kind of a surprise, I guess.
Yes.
Your prediction on the Forgotten was just about spot on. They did have 33 points, tied point-wise with Top Strikers for 10th place, but Top Strikers did have more frags, so the Forgotten will be in 11th for the night.
So, what has C-Dub? Obviously, as you know, C-Dub watches a lot of video. I watch a lot of video on demand. And as this season has become more quote-unquote sweaty or difficult, I think that for me, the turning point for every one of these matches is when we get to the 5th zone, there's approximately 15 teams left. And when we go from 15 to about 9 teams, it takes maybe 3 to 4 minutes, and I think that's really having the most effect on these scrims day in and day out. Prime example I'll give is Artemis was running from the 5th zone, or running from the zone from 5th to 6th. He had to run 211 meters, was healing himself consistently. He started with 11 teams, and when he ran 200 meters healing himself, there were 7 teams left. So 4 teams got knocked out in the 90 seconds it took him to run that distance, which I think is a huge amount. And one thing that Misfire's been working on is being able to transition from 15 teams in the 5th circle to about 9 teams in the 6th. And that's been a big thing for us to work on. Have you seen that? And what do you think of that kind of issue that we've seen in the zones recently.
As long as I've been a part of the OUTcast Scrims, which have been, well over a year now that I've been participating, 13, 14 months, I guess. There's never been, until recently, a consistent winner or a consistent top five. It's shuffled. The teams have shuffled in and out so much that I feel like everybody feels like they have a chance to come and win, or at least, finish in the top five. And I believe that as well. The quality's so good that all of these teams have a chance to come in here and do well.
I agree 100%. I think that, especially when you get down to those last circles and stuff like that, you see, like I said, just today, Anti-Sweat, a team that was designed just so some of the members of Dream Killers could get into the match, ends up coming here in 6th place. The Metaphor Bravo team, or Hombres de Cuatro, the all Spanish-speaking section of Metaphor, coming in with a top 5 finish, even though before today they were in 12th place. They ended up coming in 4th place today. So we'll see a lot of teams at Walking Frags, a team that we don't see that often, but have come in lately, also doing well. So a lot of teams that either show up for the occasional match or have improved a lot over the last couple of weeks are being represented in this top 10.
Yeah, that's right. It's getting exciting. I cannot wait to see what it looks like in 2 more weeks, the end of week 6.
So, obviously, I wouldn't say, like I said, you guys didn't have like a bad night. I would call it a good night, but not a bad night. It's going to probably close up the distance between you and Dream Killers, and you guys are going to get a little closer to Hacks, because Hacks had a pretty poor night, finishing in 17th place. So what is the game plan going forward at the halfway point for OUTcast Alpha? Are you guys using that tried and true practice of just trying to stay in the top 5? Or are you guys going to try to, move up in the ranks? Or just play in whatever you guys land,
we're gonna do what, in my opinion, we're gonna do what we're best at, which is being consistent, and we're gonna rely on everybody else to be inconsistent. Because I mean, if you can stay in the top 5, the chances of any other team doing that is incredibly low. There obviously are another 1 or 2 teams out there that have been able to do it, but if we can just be there and be ready to take advantage when one of the other teams are above us stumbles, I think we're going to have a real fair shot at it. I think we're going to have a lot better percentage chance of winning it that way than we would be by taking extra risks.
And when we say a top 10 team, this is a lot of these. If you're a viewer listening or watching, this isn't a top 10 in a lobby of 25 teams. We've had 50 plus teams participate, over 300 individual players. So when you're top 10, when you said you're top 10 out of a total group lobby overall of 50 separate teams. Some have showed up once, showed up many times. But like I said, over 50 different teams have played at least one scrim in this season, and over 300 players have played at least one match in this season. So very, very large pool of players and teams, and we're not even halfway through yet.
Yeah, that's true. But the results are starting to show themselves with that top 5 sneaking up. But I really still feel like there's going to be a team come out of nowhere and eke their way into the top 5 shortly. I don't know why. I don't have any reason to think that. It's just, looking at the numbers, it's definitely possible.
I mean, if I had to really test, I would say the team that's really moved up the most recently is Metaphor Bravo. They've come from almost out of the 20th place. Now they're in 12th place right now. But with this... in the top 10, and one thing that I've also noticed is the OUTcast Bravo team slowly working their way up in a more consistent manner. I think that obviously having Mr. Bacon, having Jay White as like the foundation, now really getting Lust in there as a solid third player. They're just a 1/4 player away from really solidifying that roster. And then when that happens, it can rotate down to Charlie and they can do the same thing.
Right. Yeah, I would be extremely excited if OUTcast Bravo was able to come back into the top 10 and make a shot at the top 5 by the end of the season. There's still definitely enough time. There's enough time for anybody to do it, even a team that hasn't played yet. As me and you have said more than once, we're almost at the halfway point. A team could come in right now with 0 points and score, and win it all out and guaranteed to be in the top 5 if you won every scrim. But chances are, truthfully, if you finish top 5 from here on out, even with 0 points now, you're going to have a real good chance at catching up to the top 5 just because of how volatile positions.
Yeah, I think you're like, if you're right now, the top team in 10th place is Top Strikers. If they get a first place 30-point event on the power rankings, that pushes them up to 5th place in one match, in one scrim. Obviously, the other teams are going to score points too, but that's very, very close. So they said Hacks was less than 30 points away from them today.
Oh, right. Yeah, and we've definitely seen nights where all the contenders, 187 Hacks, OUTcast, Dream Killers, where they've been absent from the top 5, all of them. I think it was week 2 or maybe week 3. And it's happened once. I can just about promise you it's going to happen again. There's going to be another weird night that's going to allow some team somewhere, whether they've played this scrim before or not, to rapidly advance in the ranks.
So with that said, that's what I have. Nick, that's what I have, guys. I appreciate CW coming in here. And if you'd like to hear what CW has to say, make sure you tune in between matches 2 and 3 on Friday nights. That is One Good Idea with CW, where he takes a concept, an idea, a position in PUBG Mobile tactics, and kind of explains to you what it means and how it works and why we do it. It's something that's very popular, and he shows up every match, matches 2 and 3 on Friday, scrims, and gives breaks down one concept of PUBG Mobile for all of us. Whether you're a new guy just learning or a guy who's been in it since season 1 like myself, you're gonna learn something, because I know I do every time. So I am good with my stuff, Nick, and thank you guys very much, and I'm good.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, so if you guys are not in the Discord, are not on the OUTcast webpage, that's where you can get the most up-to-date information as far as scores for the top 10 for the season, as well as the cumulative score for every team that's participated thus far. In the Discord is where you can sign up. I believe the signups are already open for next Wednesday, or they will be very soon here. So you may want to get in line early. The line fills up quick. So with that, I think we're going to sign out, and we'll see you back here on Friday for the mixed 4 match. Maybe 5 if the same thing happens like last week, but we'll have at least 4. All right, with that, we'll catch you guys later. We will be having a raid, so just hang on for that, and we'll send you on your way.
All right, thank you.
Inside your waste away while we celebrate. It may seem harsh, but you're a dick. Fucking hate you. You're a douchebag. I hope every time that you're barefoot, you step on a Lego. I hope every puzzle you make is missing one piece. I hope you develop an allergy to sex. I hope your children can't learn to read. Fucking hate you. You're an asshole. I wish you'd die, see your family cry, collect their tears in a vial, mix them in a cocktail, dancing on your grave, popping the champagne. This one's for you, this one's for you. Oh, this one's for you, you piece of shit.